Let's talk about the response from the Americans and also the Europeans. There are reports from the U.S. military that the military helped intercept some of the missiles that were fired today. What are we hearing from the U.S.? What else are we hearing from the U.S.? And also, what are we hearing from European allies?
With the latest round of escalation prior to today, Vice President Harris had supported Israel's targeting of Hassan Nasrallah. Other U.S. officials have also expressed that the infrastructure of Hezbollah should have been destroyed as it is right now due to the Israeli strikes, about 1,500, I think it was within 48 hours. So overall, the message from the United States has been relatively more positive and seems a bit more supportive. And additionally, prior to the Iranian strike today, numerous U.S. officials sent messages to Tehran saying, do not escalate. Very, very firm response. Tehran chose to ignore those. Again, going back to the conversation about Tehran losing all of its leverage, and now it has lost all of that and did not listen to or adhere by any threats posed by the United States. I mean, and when it comes to the European Union, Iran has launched different operations against the European Union. As outside of the missile issue, the Islamic Republic's malign influence and supporting different criminal organizations, and as well as biker gangs or perhaps criminal networks in Sweden to target Israelis, American officials, Jewish communities across EU, is its own separate issue that Europeans are perhaps contemplating different ways to address it. One area would perhaps to be designating the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Another avenue of action that many both American and European officials are discussing is the snapback options when it comes to Iran's nuclear capabilities per the UN resolution.
Now, you are a research analyst at FDD, and you've looked at the region more broadly. So maybe to zoom out a little bit, I'm curious about the human impact here. We're talking about militaries and military leaders involved in this conflict. But what do American audiences need to know about regular Iranian people, regular Lebanese people, Israelis? What does today's attack mean for folks on the ground? I've seen some text messages online. Folks seem like they're hiding in bomb shelters and scared. What do you know about the human toll here?
From the Israeli standpoint, part of the reason the ground invasion of Lebanon occurred, according to Israeli officials, was that the situation in the north was no longer sustainable, meaning that thousands of Israelis being displaced from their homes as they were under fire by terrorist groups such as Hezbollah was no longer acceptable, and Israel had to change the power balance when it came to its northern front. Now we know that Hezbollah, Hamas, and as well as actually Iranian officials tend to use civilians as effectively shields, as human shields. So when it comes to, for example, when Iran targeted its own airplane as the situation was escalating with the United States a few years ago after assassination of Qasem Soleimani, Iran officials themselves admitted that they would take out, they actually chose to take out their own civilian passenger airplane to perhaps protect the rest of this quote-unquote population by avoiding a war. So this has been the tactic by the Axis of Resistance in Tehran to perhaps target civilians deliberately to raise concerns and raise alarms and point a finger at the quote-unquote aggressor, in this context being Israel, previously being America. So this tactic is unfortunately likely to continue, this strategy of exploiting civilians by using them as human shields to raise concerns, to then again leverage perhaps their media wings as well as their propaganda outlets to highlight the loss of life that they in fact are responsible for.
Janatan, Sayeh, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.